So, welcome to your strength and balance practice today. What can you expect from today? Well, about 30 minutes of movement and about 20 minutes of yoga nidra. So, the theme of today's practice is about working through our lower body to create a bigger sense or a deeper sense of balance. Our feet, our ankles, our calf muscles work very hard to produce balance and grounding. And that can be something that starts to shift when we're dealing with chronic illness or symptoms or pain. And we can lose that sense of grounding. We can start to stiffen up in certain areas. So, for our movement part of our practice, we'll be standing quite a bit with the support of a chair. So, do make sure you've got at least one chair. Make sure that you have got one block. The harder, the better, because you're going to stand on it shortly. But don't worry if you don't have a wooden block like this. And you need one ball for a little bit of myofascial release. And we'll use that towards the end of the practice on our calf muscles. Now, when we do myofascial release of our calf muscles, that's best done on the floor with our feet, our calf up on a block with the ball. But if getting down to the floor is a bit tricky today, you need to have a second chair on hand. Okay? And I'll show you how to use that towards the end of our practice if you decide don't want to get on the floor today. So I'll give you a moment just to grab all the things you might need. And we'll take a brief centering, a brief grounding, because we've got a beautiful drawn out yoga nidra practice after our movement. So once you've found all the things you think you might need, then come and join me in your seat for a moment. Have your spine completely supported and plant your feet on the floor, checking that your ankles are underneath your knees. Relax your shoulders. And if you like, you might take the Hakini Mudra, which is where you draw all four fingers together and rest it down by your navel. Make sure your elbows and shoulders feel relaxed. If it feels like there's tension in order to hold the mudra, release the mudra. You don't need to do it. And closing down your eyes just for a moment, starting to tune into the breath. Perhaps inviting a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out through your mouth. And take as many of those as you need in order to feel more relaxed, and then allow your breath to settle into an easy, natural rhythm of breath. Notice the flow of air in and out through your nose. And if you can, in your mind's eye, visualize a third eye point, or the point between your eyebrows, which is the seat of wisdom in our body. You might visualize it as a golden light, perhaps a couple of inches behind the middle of your eyebrows. A warm ball of golden light. And then gently release your hands from your mudra, just keeping your eyes closed. Grab two fingers, your peace fingers, and start to gently tap that same point in between your eyebrows on your forehead. Keep visualizing in your mind's eye the golden light. And as you tap, feel that sense of the light expanding and filling your entire skull, head, and moving down into the body bit by bit until the whole body is golden light. And if visualization is tricky for you today, please do not worry. Just continue to tap and stimulate this area between your brows. And then release your hands. Draw your hands together at heart center, palms touching. Bow your head, your chin towards your hands. And just sitting in that vibration, that sensation between the brows. And welcome in a sense of grounding and balance as you move through your practice today. And you might do that by repeating this mantra silently inside your own mind 3 times. The mantra is, I am grounded. I am grounded. I am grounded. And then release your hands and slowly, gently start to flutter open the eyelids, let the light come back in. And we start to wake up our feet and our legs so that they can go to work for us. So start to lift your toes and then your heels, just alternating between toes and heels. Shuffle the hips a little bit forward. You can still use the back support behind you. Just gently cup behind your left hip if you can. Now, if it's painful to lift your hip too high, you don't need to. You don't need to draw the knee to your chest. You could just hover 1 inch off the seat. So just cup behind your thigh, and we're going to straighten and bend the knee as best as we can. And then the next time that your knee is extended, can you start to rotate your ankle clockwise and anti-clockwise? So both directions. And then drop your leg down. We'll go to our second side, cupping this time behind your right leg or your right thigh. Straighten and bend. If you can, point your toes as if you're a ballerina, ballerina toes. Good, and the next time your knee is straight, rotate your ankles, both directions. And pop that down. Give a little run on the spot. And we're going to come to stand and just position your chair to the right-hand side of your space with the backrest near to you for support. Make sure that your block is on the outside of your left foot. So the block is furthest away from the chair. Just moving into our legs here. So come to stand with 1 foot on the block here. Now make sure that however you position the block, you can easily reach your chair. So if you do feel a bit off kilter, you're not going to fall because you can grab the chair. And we're going to start with some hip hikes. So you can take one hand to your hip, one hand is on the chair for support, and start to put the weight into the block. If you can, keep a tiny bend in the knee of the standing knee. Your tippy toes of your other foot may be touching the floor, and then come down. So this is a hip hike. So we're working here through the big glute muscles and the side of the thigh of the block leg. So nice and slow, hike up and hike down. Good, keep going. Doing another 3, 2, 1. And then from here, we add on. So either staying with that option, or if you feel pretty steady, you can start to take the foot completely away now from the floor. So it'll hover off the floor completely and then come down. So that's option 2. Option 3, if you feel even more steady, is to take your hand off the chair. Hands to your hips. 3 variations, each of them just as good at working your hip and glute and pelvic support muscles. Good. We're going to do another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the leg down. You might just take a little hip sway. You might be feeling some lactic acid buildup or heat buildup, maybe even a cramping. So, as always, I would recommend that you stop doing the exercise if it's getting you crampy. Hopefully, stop it before it gets too crampy. But if you do get a cramp, walk it out, move the body. Bringing that foot back onto the chair, take your hand back to your chair for support. Sorry, bringing your foot back onto the block, not your foot on the chair. Hand on the seat on the chair for support. This time we now put all the weight through that standing leg, and we're going to swing the other leg forward and backward. Nice. Now here comes our balance challenge. We either stick with this version of the block swing, swinging backwards and forwards, or we attempt to remove the hand from the block and swing backwards and forwards. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very wobbly. So keep going if you're all right here and it's not causing any discomfort. You can land your foot down whenever you need. If you feel quite steady in this block swing, you can start to draw a figure of 8 with that leg. So it's not just going backwards and forwards, it's going in other directions. Well done. And release. Come off your block. If you're like me, you're feeling it right here, but don't worry if you're feeling it more there or elsewhere. Good. Just pop the block away for a moment. We'll come back to it in a second. And turn to face your chair. So this time, step your left foot back, coming into a sort of a lunge shape here. Bend your front knee. Good. And then step that left foot forward. So we're going to repeat this. Lunge back, step forward. As you do this, can you keep the front knee bent? So your right knee stays bent. Your left leg is doing all the work, but actually it's not really. Your right glute is probably doing a lot of work too. Good. Do 2 more. And then the next time that you lunge back, stay there. Stay in your high lunge, your crescent lunge. Keep that back heel lifted. The back leg is nice and straight. The front knee is bent. You can lift your spine nice and long. So lift your torso away from the chair. If you're happy, you could take one hand from the chair or maybe both. Hands to hips. Stay in your lunge. Breathing here. 3 breaths. Hands to the chair for support. Step the back foot in and put the heel down completely. Straighten your front knee. Pyramid shape here. So walk your back foot in so that there's a slightly shorter gap between the feet. Point both of your feet towards the front, so towards your chair, hips facing toward the chair, and start to hinge your torso slowly forward until you feel some stretch at the back of the front leg. Hover there for a while, maybe resting your forearms on the chair. We'll stay here for about 10 seconds before we go in any deeper. And then we either stay here or we start to bring our hands lower down, bringing our head to the back of the chair. Maybe the head can go lower towards the thigh, as long as you don't feel dizzy. Breathing. And then slowly lifting up, one bit at a time. Use your chair support. Bend through your front knee and step your back foot in. Take a little sway. And then when you're ready, come back to Tadasana with your feet about hip distance apart. And this is an option. So we're going to transfer to the other knee. So the knee closest to the chair, bend that and hike up the leg that's been doing all the work so far. Yeah, right. Now we can stay here. If you so desire, you can open the leg out toward the side and come into your tree variation, planting the foot anywhere on the inner aspect of that standing leg. You might take one branch up to the sky. We stay here, or maybe if you feel like you're reasonably steady, you could let go and extend both your branches. Well done. Lower down, release your leg, walk it out. And then take your chair to the other side of your space. So remember, you stand in the middle of the chair and the block. Other side. Hand to our hip. And for most of us, that'll be your right foot going up onto the block. Keep a little bend in this knee that's on the block. And then hike up the other foot. And you might just come onto tippy toes. You don't have to take it completely off the mat if that's not right for you today. Good. So we're going to do 5 hikes just like this. And then either staying with this version or taking the foot completely off. And then down. And you might stay with that version, or if you want to test your balance and work the feet, the tiny muscles of the feet on the block, take your hand away from the chair. So this is really going to make your foot and ankle do a lot of work here to maintain your balance. Well done. Whatever version you're in, keep going and do another 5. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down. Hand to the chair for support. Now we swing. We're going to maybe just shake it off and then take a little block swing. Same foot back to the block. Swinging in front and behind. Front and behind. And we stay with this version, or if we want a little more, we take our hand off the chair and stay with that version. If we want a little more, we take some figure of eights. So moving that leg in all directions, which really disrupt our balance. When we disrupt our balance, we're forcing the tiny receptors in our feet, and we're forcing our foot flexor muscles and ankle flexors to work hard to keep us standing. And then drop down. Sway, shake it off. Just pop the block away for a moment and turn to face your chair. This time, put the weight into your left knee and step your right foot back. Step it back forward. Keep the bend in your left knee as we just move between this dynamic lunge, stepping forward and stepping back. Or another 3, 2, 1. And the next time you come into your lunge, can you stay there? So bend that front knee, lift your back heel, lift your torso away from the chair. Maybe one hand to your hips, or maybe both hands to your hips. 3 deep breaths here. Slight tuck of the pelvis forward. Hands to the chair. This time, step your back foot in enough that you can completely land the heels. Pyramid shape. Fully straighten both legs and start to hinge forward. Don't go too deep to begin with. Maybe just stay with your forearms on the chair. Keep hugging that left leg back, that left hip back to switch on the left hamstring. Breathe here for about 10-15 seconds before we go any lower. Option to stay as you are, or if you want to bring your hands lower or your head lower, you can. Very gently bringing yourself upright. Take your time and step your back foot in. Reset. And then we come to our little Tadasana for our standing tree. So keep a little bend in the knee that's closest to the chair. And hike the other knee up. And it might stay here. Or maybe you open the leg out, open the hip out, and you land the foot somewhere on the inside of your leg. It does not need to be where mine is. You might have your toes on the floor like a kickstand and the ankle to heel. This could be your tree. This could be your tree. That might be your tree. I can't do it, but that might be your tree. You might lift one branch up to the sky and stay here. If you feel like you want to lift both branches, take your hand off and fix your gaze on a non-moving object. So not me. Find a drishti, a point of concentration on the horizon as you attempt to stay balanced, grounded, tree-like. Well done. When you're ready, you can drop your branches, drop your feet, walk it off. And we just have time for a quick little myofascial release of these hardworking calf muscles before we launch into our long yoga nidra. Now, I'll just show you option one, which uses 2 chairs in case you don't want to get to the floor. And then I'll show you the floor version in a second. So if you are not so keen on the floor, make sure you have 2 chairs and that they're roughly one in front of the other. Make sure you have your ball. You might need your block, depends on how high your chair is. Okay, so we're targeting the back of the calf, the big meaty part of our calf muscle. And that means, or one leg rather, is going to go up onto the block and the ball is pressing into the block. I hope that projects okay and you can sort of see that. But this is the position and we can roll around, we can massage that calf muscle or muscles. We can roll from side to side. Now, if you're not using your chair, you can come to the floor. Again, position your block. Ball goes onto the block and the calf lands on top. But you have a little bit more control of where you position things if you're doing this on the floor, which is why I prefer it on the floor. So the ball starts at that midpoint about 3 or 4 inches below the back of the knee. You might just press in, let the weight of your leg press down onto the ball for 10 seconds or so. And then slightly roll the ball about an inch above where you are to a new pressure point. And then allow yourself to explore. So you might uh, shear the tissues by moving horizontally as I'm doing now. And you might find a new sticky point where those tissues feel really tight and it might feel quite tender, but also tender in a good way as you release through those sticky areas. And then you might allow the ball to go lower down. So I'm moving the block, and as I push the block away from me, the ball moves with it. And now the ball is moved down to the very top of my Achilles tendon. And that's another little sticky sore area. So I'm just going to press down here and hold for 10 or 20 seconds. You might try that too. There's so many tender points in these meaty muscles that often get neglected. And if you have more time, I'd really invite you to come back to this practice later on. You could easily spend 10 or 15 minutes simply doing calf myofascial release. And that would be really good work to help support the recovery of your tissues after the movement part of our practice. In the interest of time today, I'm going to switch over to my other leg now. The same principle, starting with the ball in the middle of the calf. Holding for 10, 15 seconds. And then allowing the ball to move laterally. So to the outer part of your calf to a new sticky point, maybe an inch away from where you were before. And then I'm going to move my ball or roll my ball horizontally side to side as I shear the tissues. And then I'm going to move my block away, and my ball is moving down my calf. That feels so nice as I head towards my Achilles tendon and press down there. 20 seconds. And as you complete that, you might just sit for a second with your legs out long. Or if you're in the chair, just taking your feet to the floor. And hopefully you feel this vibration or sensation in the back of the tissues. And it's often this little moment after you've performed deep tissue work, whether that's with the ball or with a foam roller, or after you've had perhaps quite a deep massage. It's that vibration afterwards, the sensation afterwards as the blood flow increases. That's what we're looking for. And you probably will describe it differently, but it certainly feels like a vibration sensation in the back of my calves now, and it feels really good. It feels really, really nice, and that's what we're looking for. I invite you to take a moment or two to get set up in your little Nidra nest. And this Yoga Nidra will last about 20 minutes. So it's quite a juicy, lengthy Nidra. So I really encourage you to have all the props that you need to let the body completely rest. Finding a comfortable position, perhaps lying on your back, whether in bed or on a sofa, and supporting yourself with cushions and blankets, maybe an eye pillow or an eye mask to block out the light. Find your space so that the body feels safe, warm, and completely supported. If you can, remain still during the practice of Yoga Nidra. However, if you do become uncomfortable, please feel free to make changes, ideally with very minimal movement. So once we begin, we really try to embrace stillness in the body. Allow your feet to fall naturally outwards, arms resting by your sides, arms open or maybe resting gently on your belly. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or simply soften your gaze. Welcome to your Yoga Nidra practice. If you can, remaining still for the next part of our practice. It is natural to flow in and out of conscious hearing during this practice. Understand that whatever your experience today, it is the experience meant for you. There is no right or wrong way. Take a slow, deep breath in and a gentle exhale out. Let the breath flow naturally without effort. You are here, safe, supported. There is nothing to do and nowhere to go. We begin by moving awareness gently through the body. As each part is named, simply notice it. There is no need to move. Right hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the right hand, back of the hand, right wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, right side of the chest, waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the right foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, right little toe. left hand thumb, left index finger, left middle finger, left ring finger, left little finger, palm of the left hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, left side of the chest, waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the left foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, left little toe. Back of the head, neck, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, spine, lower back, right buttock, left buttock, back of the thighs, calves, heels, forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, space between the brows, right eye, left eye, right ear, left ear, nose, tip of the nose, lips, chin, throat, collarbones, chest, heart center, upper belly, navel, lower belly, pelvis. Now feel the whole body together, lying heavy, still and supported. Bring awareness to the gentle rhythm of your breath. No need to change it. Notice the coolness as you breathe in and the warmth as you breathe out. Bring your attention to the belly. Feel the rise of your belly as you inhale and the soft release as you exhale. If the breath feels shallow, that is okay. If it feels deep, that is okay. However the breath is, simply notice. Imagine with each inhale, you are drawing stability and strength up from the earth beneath you. With each exhale, feel your body sinking deeper into support, letting go of tension. Inhale, steadiness. Exhale, release. Now imagine you are lying in a quiet forest clearing. The ground beneath you is soft and steady. You can feel the gentle firmness of the earth supporting you completely. Above you, tall trees reach into the sky. Their roots grow deep into the soil, anchoring them firmly. With each breath, imagine your own body sending down roots into the earth, steady, strong, grounded. Visualize these roots spreading from your feet, your legs, your hips, into the soil below. Feel the earth's calm, steady energy rising back up through those roots, filling your body with safety and ease. Now, imagine a warm golden light surrounding your body, like a gentle blanket. This light soothes your nerves, relaxes your muscles, and quiets the mind. You are safe, connected, and nourished by the earth. Bask here for a few breaths, resting in the stillness, grounded, supported. Now bring to mind your sankalpa, a short, positive statement of intention. Choose a phrase that feels grounding and supportive, such as, I am grounded. I am grounded. Silently repeat your sankalpa 3 times with full awareness and belief. Begin to bring awareness back to your breath. Notice the gentle rise and fall of the belly. Feel the contact points of your body with the support beneath you. Wiggle your fingers and toes gently. And if you wish, stretch your arms overhead or roll softly to one side, moving at your own pace. When you are ready, slowly open your eyes, carrying with you the sense of grounding, steadiness, and ease as you move throughout your day. Your practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. And I wish you a lovely rest of your day. And I'll catch up with you again next time. Namaste.